remember in the scene, I was like, oh my God, I squirted. That's never happened. I was so like, holy shit. What is this? It's like pretty much.
Oh, it's the first time
Was this supposed to happen?
Welcome back, one and all. Thank you for listening. If you're new here, this is the Totally Wholesome, Not Dirty podcast, and I'm your host, Molly Stewart. We define wholesome a little differently here, and my guests span everywhere from the adult industry to the vanilla side of humanity. If you haven't, please consider subscribing. Word of mouth is what helps this podcast grow. So share with a friend, leave a comment, download an episode, or anything you can to help with the algorithm. I release episodes every Monday, and if you're subscribed, you'll never miss an episode. You don't want to miss out on all the crazy conversations that evolve here. But that's enough from me, and let's get to today's guest. Oh my God. All right, well, welcome back to the Totally Wholesome, Not Dirty podcast. I am your host, Molly Stewart, and today's guest, you may know her from all of her amazingly award-nominated and won MILF scenes. From her own podcast, from her coffee, from her wine. What do you not do, Alexis Fawx?
There's not a whole lot.
You do so much.
I'm infiltrating all.
You're just like everywhere.
Everywhere.
It was funny because like I've had quite a few people on at this point, but it was fun because you're the first person that sent over like a list of like, here's some talking points, and I'm like, oh my God, there's just so much. So we're just gonna unpack and kind of just see where things go.
For sure.
As you guys all know, I don't really do interview style, as I was telling her beforehand. So it's like, I'm curious. I'm sure maybe you have things that you're curious about me, like, why don't you do boy girl, and whatever it is. But something that I was interested that I did see is that you were in the Air Force.
Yeah, I was in
really
the Air Force.
And I find that funny because I actually went through basic training for the Air Force, which is kind of why I wanted to bring that up, because it was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like what kind of made you want to try out the military and Air Force in the first place?
I just want to get out of my small town. I didn't want to stay there any longer, and I was responsible for like if I was going to go to college or anything like that. And you know, when you're graduating high school, you don't have shit. So I was like, how can I get out of this small town and, you know, start my journey in some way or another? And the Air Force was an easy choice because it was only 6 weeks of basic training at that time. I don't know. I think they jumped it up since then. I have no idea.
I'm not even sure what it is. So.
And and it was funny because getting into the Air Force, I realized like I really excelled for some reason, and I did really, really well. Yeah. And I don't know, it just really opened a lot of doors for me for some reason.
That's cool. What made you decide? Did you do like just like your set amount of time and just decided to kind of, because it goes like what, like every 4 to 6 years or something like that for like sign up and term periods, I think. But what kind of made you decide to like, oh, like I love this and I excel here, but I want to like do something different? And then totally go like a whole different direction.
Well, I always knew I was going to do something else, but it was just like, I always looked at it as like, I've always taken like little stepping stones throughout my entire life to kind of really just guide me throughout my whole entire journey. And I just got in, I started going to college, gave me a little sense of travel and being on my own and living in other different areas, and really kind of just, you know, just another development stage for me.
Yeah, for sure.
And, so as soon as my father got sick and that all happened about, and it was getting close to me, either I was going to re-up or get out, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to get out and finish up college and move a little closer to home. So that's exactly what I did. I was at that point. So I was originally born in Pennsylvania, so I moved closer to, I went to school in North Dakota, where I was getting out of the military, and then I transferred into Maryland in Towson. So cool. Where I eventually graduated from.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's very impressive.
Yeah.
Like what kind of brought that shift into like where we are today, if you don't mind me asking?
Crazy ride. I'm still like just saying yes to opportunities all the time. Yeah. Like it literally, that's what it's been. It's just like after I graduated with my degree in physiological psychology with specialization in neuroanatomy. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do with this, right? Yeah. So I flipped a coin between Phoenix, Arizona and Miami, Florida. My mom was on the phone. She called it. Tails won. Miami was it. And I was like, okay, I'm moving to Miami. So that's basically how I moved to Miami.
Amazing.
Had nothing. Like
just like total gamble.
Yeah, I think like the Air Air Force kind of gave me that confidence of like I could go and set up place and I can survive.
I've traveled
anywhere.
already. Like I've been. I know the process of moving somewhere and trying a new place.
Yeah, I can pull myself together. So let's just do it. So
Yeah.
that's how I got to Miami, and I took some time off. I had a great time in Miami. Trust me.
Oh, I bet. There's plenty of ways to have fun in Miami.
And I got a good time in Miami. Like it was a really fun time. And now it's totally different. It's just like it's definitely changed. I lived there for 17 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I haven't been to Miami since like 2015. I think I was there for like an XBiz Cam Awards thing at the Versace Mansion, but I haven't even been since then.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's changed a lot even since then.
I bet.
And because I actually got to Vegas in 2016, so I would have been into there in 2015.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I realized that. So what brought me to here is basically, you go from college, you take some time off, then you get that job or whatever, like at corporate, and you try that all out. And
I've been there.
Yeah, and I just realized, like, I started picking up really shitty behaviors, like where you're like a weekend warrior, and you're like, let's hit
living
happy
for the
hour.
weekends, kill myself all weekend, and then kill myself the rest of the week. Wait, what are we doing?
Yeah,
we're just killing ourselves.
Yeah, that's exactly. And I was like, this is not working for me, and I had to figure out, what that was.
Yeah.
So I held off and quit everything, and living in Miami, eventually I have to get a job. So I answered a Craigslist ad to be an extra for Dancing Bear, which I was familiar with because, of course, I was a porn watcher. I love sex. I was a free spirit.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Wonderful.
So I went there, and they went through like this laundry list of things to do. Like, if you went with a friend, you could kiss her, you could show your tits, or you could just sit back and clap and you make this X amount. Or they were only doing blowjob that day, or you can give a blowjob and you make that. And I was like,
I'll suck a dick.
Yeah, I didn't even think yet. I wasn't even a thought process. I wasn't weighing shit out in my head. First of all, I was already a well enough adult, right? Like I was already on my own.
Like I'm already established.
Like
I just want some dick.
Yeah,
and if I get paid.
Wait, I haven't been laid in a while. I get paid for this, and how much dick have I sucked for free? Like
I
know. Boom. Like I don't even think I thought through it that much. It was just a yes opportunity, and I really had like if you would have asked me like that yes right there and then, where I would have ended up like 12 years later here sitting and actually winning awards and doing like so many other things, even besides of the adult industry. Yeah. I had no idea. Well, that simple. And I think it's a prime example of like, just say yes to opportunities. You'll figure it the fuck out.
Yeah,
like,
I figured that out way too late in life. And it is definitely one of those things that it's the same, like obviously totally different careers, similar field. But it's kind of like, even with camming, it's like, and then the transition into mainstream porn and then coming out of mainstream porn and going back to, making their own content. It's like, you would have told me like before I ever started any of this that this would be my job, and I would be like, no, I don't even like to wear. I won't even wear a bikini. Like, and now I'm like, I'm naked.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I gotta wear clothes. Are you? I know there was even before porn. Like there was even times where like I'm like a pretty much free spirit or whatever, but there would be even times where like you with the lights out. Now I'm like I don't the lights.
Oh my God,
light it up like a 7-Eleven. That's like how set is. Like let's show it all. Like
My first times having sex, I'm just like, turn off all the lights. Also shut your eyes. Maybe put a paper bag over my face. I don't know. Don't fuck me.
And like I didn't realize like all like like I only had the experience like at that time very limited experience with other vages. So like that's a whole nother story. And then I was like you get in, you're like, look at all the different varieties. They're
I know, and
so
that makes
beautiful.
you feel way less weird about your own because it's like I don't know how you grew up exactly, but I grew up like very conservative Christian area, and so like, and especially in my household and stuff, like sex not talked about, body stuff not talked about, and so it's like you have like no point of reference or comparison for anything, whether it's how your bits look, whether it's how other people's look, what is expected of you from sex, like what boundaries and all that kind of stuff. And it's been an interesting thing kind of discovering that through porn. I'm like, so if you don't want your kids to get into this industry, I highly recommend teaching them things young and talking about things openly.
Educate, please.
Because otherwise they're going to be like me and they're going to be like, what's this big new scary world? I'm going to try everything.
Well, there's a good thing to try everything, but
it is for sure.
But like all that's true. Like I think it's very similar to that because where I grew up in Pennsylvania, it's very like we pass billboards. You'll be going to hell. How dare you?
It's like don't kill babies.
I'm like, man, I was built for pleasure.
It's crazy. Like, it's funny because, like, the human body, when you think about it, I mean, we're built for sex. We're animals. You know, it's like we have those instinctual needs. It's things like,
but we
even
have
the
the
way
pleasure button. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yes, like, just touch it. Fucking touch it. It does exist.
Yeah, guys. And I don't know how guys miss it. Like, I don't
know. It's like right there. I'm just like, no.
And I have an Audi. I'm like, what's going on? Like, you know, like, you don't have to dig for that shit. It's like it looks like a little.
It's not hidden. Mine just like pull back the top and it's like, hello.
Little arrows.
Just get some tattoos.
Here.
Like,
press
here for fun.
May squirt.
May squirt. Not me anymore. Actually, oh my God, funnily enough, I was just talking about you a bit on the episode I had with Phoenix, and she was talking about how she's like, I was doing the scene with her, she's like, no, don't do that, you're gonna make me squirt. Yeah. And she's like, bitch, don't squirt on me. Yes. I was telling her, she's like, get some bladder control, and I was telling her, I actually had to work on controlling my bladder, because I used to squirt when I first got into camming. Mm-hmm. Then I had people on cam, I had no experience with sex toys really before, so I was like, this is just a thing that happens, cool. Yeah. And everyone's like, it's gross, don't fucking do that, it's icky, like, what are you? And so I would force myself to like not do it. Like, I would edge myself to the point of feeling like it was gonna happen and then back off a little bit and then just have like a different orgasm that way. And now I find it almost impossible to squirt. Oh, wow. Because there's like such, even, I don't know if it's mental, physical, probably a combination of the two, but wow. Yeah, so it's interesting.
Wow. Yeah, it's funny. I just she'll mop you up.
I know, she's telling me that story.
And I knew it. And it was like, oh, certain positions. It's just like, it's going to happen immediately. Yeah. And, you know, I think like, you know, working in the industry and working, you know, we work with a lot of times the same men at different points for life. And then, then they'll like drop off, you know, see the same person for a long time. But, you know, you get to know their body and it's just like, oh, I know in this position it's going to happen. And of course they put me in that position. And I was like, oh shit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Stay over there.
Be careful. Get out of the splash zone.
I know.
Have you ever had an instance with?
And I purposely was like really careful that day. I was like, no,
you're like really trying not to.
It's so hard.
Have you ever had like something crazy happen on set as far as like with squirting, like, you know, just taking out camera equipment or like hitting it? I'm sure that there's plenty. Like, does anything stand out that just kind of makes you giggle, like living rent free?
I have pretty good aim, so I try not to hit, but you know it does happen. Yeah. Like, you know, the guy, like, he'll be right there, the camera woman or cameraman, and if they don't, I always tell them certain positions, like you're there,
you're in the line of sight,
you're gonna get hit. So either your camera's gonna be okay, or you might want to get a shield for it, put the rain jacket on. I mean, because especially if it's a squirting scene, then I make sure that I'm super well like prepared for all that. That way, it's that high intensity of what they're looking for. You know,
yeah,
obviously.
Of course. That's the thing. The funny thing I've noticed too, like, a squirt, like for me, I had seen girls do it. I obviously had done it myself, but even like when it's something that you're not like prepping for, it's so small. Like, it's not, it's not like what you see and then when I filmed my first squirt scene, it was like, oh God, it's everywhere. Holy shit. Like,
oh yeah.
Stop.
I'll flood a room for sure. Yeah.
That was like a whole new
I didn't even know my body could like do all these things, you know. Like, what a discovery that was. And that happened actually in my first boy-girl scene.
Oh, really?
I had no idea I could do that. Because I used to watch porn and I used to see it and I was like, well, I can't get myself to do that, you know, whatever. And, and apparently I had some bad lays because they couldn't do it either.
They're just hitting the right spots.
Right. So my first boy girl scene, which was right after the Dancing Bear one, which is literally was booked the next day. That my male talent that day made me do it. I remember in the scene I was like, oh my God, I squirted. That's never happened. I was so like, holy shit, what is this? It's pretty much.
That was the first time
What's this supposed to happen?
The first time I ever squirted, it was like with a toy. It was like, you've seen those, like, they're like bright pink, like a little butterfly G-spot vibrator. It's like a little butterfly that vibrates, and then there's an internal G-spot one. And that was the first toy that ever made me squirt. And I was like, what happened? What happened? Like, it was so weird. Like, I accept had penises or whatever, but it's like, obviously nothing ever caused that to happen. And so, yeah, that was a total shocker for me. Yeah. I was like, oh, it's kind of cool. But then it was like, no, it's not cool. It's gross. But that's something that's fun that you discover once you go into actual porn and you get away from stuff that's more just like I guess, like, webcam focused. I feel like as far as like webcamming goes, and this is not the case with everyone, but there's definitely like a super like crazy dedicated fan base, and they're very kind of, it seems like they're very specific on kind of like what they like, and they want you to check all those boxes. And then also it's like different from porn because obviously there's fetishes and kinks, but it's like you don't typically, like, I don't want to say deal with, but like talk about that kind of stuff with the fans all the time. But with camming, it's like you're on cam every single day, so you're constantly hearing the feedback and trying to take that all into consideration. When you get into porn, you're like, oh, there's like everyone in the world, and everyone likes something that your fucking body does, like, no matter what.
There's something for everybody.
Yes.
I remember when camming first started. I was actually at the very beginnings of it. It used to be called Bang Secretary. It was like you got paid $20 an hour. And that was the first real experience of performing and having very minimal like feedback from the fans. I remember all of that. Like, and then eventually they got like the tipping involved. And then all of a sudden they realized that women could make a lot of money when they just tipped.
Yeah, versus just spot money.
Yeah, so camming has come a long, long, long way. Yeah. And then after I took a little bit of a small break of filming just mainstream porn and did just camming, and that put me through like massage school and all kinds of stuff.
There was a lot of benefits to camming that I found. It's like, for me, it was like the drama just got a bit too much. I got a bit too old for the drama that came with like the constant competition with cam. But aside from that, like, I loved
really big competition. It wasn't always like that.
It wasn't.
No, and not at all. At least like when I used to do it heavily, it wasn't like there'd be cute little contests, but I don't know of the whole competition.
The monthly ranking contest on certain sites is
like,
just, it's well, I don't do it anymore because I'm just like, I can't, like, it's so, even when I first started, I feel like it changed. Like, it used to be the thing, like, get into the top 20, like that's your goal for the month. And it's like, but it felt more like attainable. And then it got to a point where people were competing more and more and more, that made it not only, I wouldn't say more and more unattainable, but I'm talking like there's no time off. You can't take time off when you're in a monthly competition month after month and you're expected to stay on top.
That's how I feel about it. And I feel like that's so forced. And when it got to that point, I think it's where I kind of lost interest because I don't like to do anything forced. Like I don't want to feel like it's the same thing with social media and the fucking forced content. Like if you're not producing content on social media all the time, you're not gonna.
It's exhausting.
You can't break those algorithms. And I'm just like, fuck that shit. Like if you like art takes time.
It does.
Your craft takes time.
Yeah, and the thing with art is like so much of your mental and emotional goes into it when you're creating something, that it's like if you have to be on all the time, it's like your energy is completely depleted.
Eventually that line's gonna drop. I don't care. Like it may be fucking soaring for the longest time because you've got adrenaline and all this great stuff going.
But eventually it wears off.
But eventually, trust me, you get burnt out. And that's what happened for me. It's like when it got to that point, like, oh my God, I remember doing like a 24-hour fucking
I've done those.
Dude, I can't use magic wands anymore. Shit.
Oh my God.
You know how guys' dicks will get like, you know, some of them are super sensitive at the head and they're like, oh, don't touch the head, it's too sensitive.
Yeah, and then so of course you're like, boop.
Yeah, if I use a magic wand on my clit like that, forget it. It'll be just sick.
You're like, don't touch
it. It will swell up, all the blood goes there, but I cannot come. It will hurt, and I'm like, get the fuck off.
No.
Because of that. Man, I remember the next day I was having frozen peas on my crotch, all kinds of bullshit. Like it
I
was.
know that you said awful. Frozen peas, but my brain said frozen penis, and I was like, well, interesting.
I do have some rose quartz penises that you could probably freeze.
I love actually freezing the glass dildos. I have like one of those little like skincare fridges, and I just keep my glass dildos in it because it's just a little fridge. Yeah, super convenient. So highly recommend if you have glass dildos.
Check that out. Mark that down, Joe.
And so getting back to that, so it's kind of I kind of feel you on the way where it's like it gets to the point where something that was fun, right, becomes not fun, and it becomes less and less creative because it's like there's less and less to pull from. So what I see with you and just all the list of talking points that we're not going to be able to get to because there were so many, because she's amazing, obviously. But it's like you took that and you're like, oh, here's all this creativity that I have. I'm going to branch out into literally every single department that I can that interests me, so that you're always having something new and creative to do on top of the other stuff.
I love doing things. I really, really fucking
I love doing things too.
I do. Like I
do
love.
You want to do another thing, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay,
and I brought some too.
Fantastic.
If you'd like to try these are baby Jeters. I love them, and these are fused with I guess they call it liquid diamonds. May I have a glass of water?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm like
all the water you can. Have you started spring cleaning yet? The drapes need dusting, the carpets need vacuuming, and that lawn needs mowing. You know what I'm talking about. All of that undergrowth that you've been ignoring and putting off. Well, spring has sprung, and Manscaped has the best tools for the job. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping when you use my code TWND at checkout. Start off your spring cleaning and knock out those pubes with the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer to get the most precise shave to keep your hedges clean and smooth. No need to worry about watering your grass with this tool because it's waterproof. The LED light shows you everything going on down there to help avoid a shaving disaster. Go out and actually smell the roses with the Weed Whacker. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. No spring cleaning is complete without a little aromatherapy, and the Performance Package 4.0 is there for you with the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver to tone, moisturize, and provide anti-chafing for those beautiful balls. The start of spring also marks the start of Testicular Cancer Awareness Month in April. Manscaped has partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society to bring awareness to testicular cancer, men's health, and early cancer detection. As part of Manscaped's We Save the Balls initiative, they are committed to raising awareness for the most common form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35 and giving support for fighters, survivors, and family impacted by testicular cancer. We love balls here at the Totally Wholesome, Not Dirty podcast, and I'm so happy to be sponsored by Manscaped, who's going above and beyond and below the belt to bring awareness to help those who need it. Join the cause and keep yourself fresh by going to manscaped.com and entering my code TWND at checkout to receive 20% off and free shipping. Out with the old grooming habits and into the new with Manscaped. They're so fun looking.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I love that they have a little powder on them.
Yeah, go for it, man.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, so this is Baby Jeter. They're infused with liquid diamonds, and this is Mojalato? If I'm saying it correctly? I don't know.
Mojalato? Mojalato. That's good. It does taste a little mojito-y.
I like the little mini ones.
Yeah, I do too. That's why I like the little mini motivators. Lovely. Now, as far as you not being in the military anymore, this is probably something that how long have you been smoking? As far as
gosh, I've been a weed smoker for a really long fucking time. Shit, I started doing LSD when I was 12, and just then I went to smoking weed and kind of like chilling out. But I've always believed in mind expansion. I was like a loner kid that read a lot of weird shit, and so I believed in mind expansion. I couldn't believe that this is our eyeballs is all that we could see. I think our brains are pretty phenomenal things, and let's dive into it. And so I just kind of would smoke weed and go hiking all the time. Appalachian Trail was my backyard, so I started very young with it. And that's all I only stuck to. I just stuck to as a kid, as a teenager exploring teenage years, weed and a little bit of LSD and stuff like that. Then I joined the military and I stopped. Yeah. And then booze was a thing. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let me try booze for a while. And that didn't fan out very well. Yeah. I didn't like it. I don't mind having an adult beverage once in a while and stuff like that, but it's to a limit. It's so strong for me.
Yeah. I'd rather have a weed drink personally.
Yeah,
I don't drink anymore, so it's kind of my,
Yeah, it's
as well. Alcohol did not. My body liked it too much. It's like that. I don't need it, but once you have it, and then it's 3 drinks is a good amount. But what about 4? 5, 6, 7?
Oh God, I couldn't.
Oh my God, it's Tuesday
so
and I started on Friday. It's not. It was that kind of cycle, and I would never say that it put me in a good headspace.
Yeah.
Never in a calm headspace. Never.
No, it's not a calming.
It's
thing.
One of those things. Have you ever had a fight with a stoner? I've not.
Good point.
Good point. Even people, for instance, that it's maybe I don't know them very well, or maybe I know that. Maybe there's nothing wrong between us, but we don't vibe that well. Mm-hmm. You put weed in that scenario and things are fine because it's you can just manage that the little bits in your brain that kind of just I feel make me aggressive or will maybe someone would say something. If I'm smoking, it's not going to really bother me as much. It'll make me just kind of laugh about it. If I'm drinking, I'll fucking address it. I'll fucking call you out. I will fight like to your face. Like it's not good. It's not good. So
I become very fun, but I don't get aggressive. I'm more like the person that will lap dance over everybody's face.
Oh no, girl.
But
no. I'm talking. Don't get me wrong.
I don't do that anymore.
I'm a total whore when I drink. Like it's like I want to make out with everyone. I want to dance with everyone. But once you get to that certain drink point with me, then it's like then I'm aggressive.
Oh wow.
And it's like, and it's not even necessarily at other people. A lot of the aggression that I had when I drank was like self-loathing, self-hate. Like I would yell like at myself about what a piece of shit I was, and like,
oh my gosh.
yeah. And so, and it's not, it's not. Nobody wants to hang around you when you're like that. I don't want to hang around myself. And so weed, I just kind of felt was like a much better way to just
relax,
yeah. Which I have a very hard time doing.
People usually sit back and have a glass of wine or a beer,
yeah,
to unwind, and that's I think a more respectable way of using it is to back, think of it as a way to unwind and relax, and that's why I think that weed should be looked at the same way. It should be looked at like if someone can go have a glass of beer to unwind, I should go and have a joint and unwind somewhere as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's to me like those things respectively can be good
for sure
and everything, but like it. Yeah, so in the military, that kind of stopped all my weed smoking and everything like that, obviously for obvious reasons. Yeah. But as soon as I got out, man, I was back to weed. It was always been a staple all my life, and it's just with becoming more legal and everything like that, it really gave me a chance to put my foot in the door and really kind of push stuff through. While my brand was building, it was also easy for me to shake hands in the cannabis industry at the same time and come up with that.
Which
and
is
like
great.
Now I'm like an ambassador for Yardine here. It's a dispensary here in Vegas, which is really cool.
Yeah. No, I love her.
I love them.
Yeah. I did a photo shoot for them. It was all blue like an alien, and I did like a desert thing. It was really fun. Yeah, did it with my friend Aura. You guys have seen her episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I love weed.
Yeah,
Weed is so fantastic.
I think going to Amsterdam was like also like so cool as a kid, right? Like I was just like, oh my god, this is awesome. So. Which I actually was like, I guess how I spawned off into my coffee and everything like that is because I was smoking I was smoking a joint in my backyard on a hammock on a Sunday and was just like, oh, I should have my own coffee company.
Yeah.
So I called my friend that I was getting my coffee from, which is a roaster out in Massachusetts. And I said, hey, I wanted my own coffee company. I was like, wait, what do you want to call it? And it was like High AF.
Yeah, which is amazing.
And it was just a high altitude for coffee. And it was also a slick way of getting like Alexis Fawx initials in there in mainstream product without being. And High AF is just like, it's easy.
Yeah.
People are going to remember that. And then you spawn that off into a cafe, something like Amsterdam, where people can come, maybe bring their own weed or smoke a joint or whatever, have a cup of coffee, maybe read a book, boom, bang.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
The High AF coffee.
That's one of my favorite things is coffee and a joint.
Yeah, I mean, I think they kind of go hand in hand. At least for me, they've always
literally hand in hand. Yeah,
literally,
one hand for the joint, one hand for the coffee. It's perfect. Yeah, it all works out.
So, yeah. Oh, and I brought some coffee for you.
Oh,
I wasn't sure like what kind you liked. But I
girl, all coffee.
I brought you I brought you a cold brew, and I think I brought you. Is it espresso or something?
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Oh, it's my AJ blend because when we first started, I had two flavors. I had AJ's blend and I had Sumatra. Let's see what I got. Sorry, I brought a bunch of.
No, don't be sorry. I'm so excited. I love coffee.
Bringing gifts. So I brought you the Sumatra cold brew, and then we had AJ's blend. Those were the only two flavors that we originally started with, and how we came up with those two flavors was I was sent 4 beans. I basically gave him an idea of what I liked as in coffee, right? So my roaster sent me 4 beans labeled A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
And then I took those and I separated those in little bags and I gave each of my friends that said A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
And said, tell me which one you like.
Yeah.
Take your time. And then we narrowed it down to, I think it was like B and D or something like that. And that happened to be AJ's blend, which we named AJ's blend. And then the other one was Sumatra.
That's amazing.
But those were the 2 popular ones that came down to. Now we have Costa Rica, Peru, Nicaragua. We have espresso. We have dark espresso, espresso dark roast. So it's growing. And then we also have a hot cocoa, which is really cool.
Well, what's cool is I actually saw this for the first time because I know the name of the bar that you've partnered with for their ale.
Oh yeah, Astronomy Ale Works.
Yeah. So that's the first place that I actually saw it because I went there.
Yeah, I think you came to the first one. Yeah, that's right. I think you came to the actual first beer that we did together. So my coffee, High AF coffee, is in of one of their golden ales, and we named that Cheers to Breakfast. We're actually, that did so well, we're canning that beer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, the canning party is this Friday coming up, or whenever. This might sound a little weird when it airs, but
whenever it is, it's happening soon.
So it's happening soon. I'll send you the details on it and stuff like that. But yeah, we're actually, which is really exciting. I went to the canning itself, and I have a can in my fridge, and I think I might just keep it just because it's a.
And so then you're talking like actual distribution, like instead of just being like specific to that one location as well, right?
Yeah, that's all under astronomy and stuff like that. And it's just awesome, like my actual coffee labels on a beer.
That's so
Again,
cool.
that's a thing that happened. You know, I started that a couple years ago, and I would have never guessed that my coffee was going to be in a beer.
Yeah, which is so cool.
So pretty exciting about that, and that that pretty rocks.
That does pretty rock.
Yeah, pretty rock.
That's I love it. Oh my God. That's one of the other things too. I always think that I'm so awkward, but when I smoke, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm awkward all the time.
I'm so awkward.
No, I'm socially awkward.
And it's so funny because like considering like what we do for a living, right? We're naked for the world to see, doing things that people do behind closed doors that everyone just watches and masturbates to. And yet here we are, like, we're also still socially awkward.
I'm so shy.
And we're shy. Like, people don't believe me when I say that literally I'm shy. Like, I feel the most confident, right, when I'm like actually done up and then like doing something for work. So like video, photo, like any type of that stuff. Any other time, it's like, if it's actually like interaction with people, it's like one of the reasons I do the podcast, because I have such a difficult time like talking to and interacting with people without like text and screens being involved, because that's more what I'm used to. And so like this kind of just mellows me out to the point where I'm like, I'm weird. This is just me, and I have to just figure it out.
Oh, I figured I was weird a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
I
think I've known my whole life.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of like where because the whole coffee, and then I ended up starting. I used to host a comedy show called the Highest Fawx Show in LA, and everybody used to. So hosting something that's live is completely different than being behind camera.
Yeah,
and I remember the first show that I ever hosted. My quads were sweaty and shaking. Like I was shaking in places that I didn't know that it could actually shake. I was sweating in places that I didn't. I was stuttering.
Oh my God.
It was. Oh my God. But I did it, and I want to keep on doing it, and we're going to continue doing it once things and we get the lounges all opened up here, and the regulations can become a little bit more open and stuff like that, become safer.
Yeah.
It would end up being a great show, but like only practice can get you used to being on stage. I swear. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh my God, it's completely different than being behind camera.
Yeah.
Behind camera, it's like, oh, you fuck up, then you can redo it. But it's like,
that's the thing. Like even presenting awards, like that's the only thing I've really done on stage is present awards, and even that, where I have to talk even so minimally, if at all, I am sweaty. It is awful. Like I am trembling. I look at like photos or like screen grabs of myself, and I'm like I'm like so forced.
You're like,
that's and I'm like so excited to be here, but I'm panicking on the inside and apparently on the outside too, because I can't hide this shit. But it's funny, and then being at something like an AVN trade show or something, an expo on the floor, that feels more like a performance. So then to me, I'm fine with that.
Oh, that's
and
like
then
entertainment.
Then I'm super confident. But if it's like, here's this isolated like thing that I'm actually forced to be, like I'd be so much more comfortable doing like even hosting an award show if I could do it just butt ass naked. Because like that's how I'm used to be.
Oh my God.
I'm like, this is fine. I'm more comfortable now.
Yeah. Speaking of, I'm going to be hosting XROC.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Did you just shake your head at me? Oh, XRCO. Please cut that out.
Hi AF. Coffee. Buy it.
Please just make sure I get that correct.
It's all right. We got there in the end. We'll figure it out. Well, that's really exciting.
Yeah, I am. I'm excited about it. I'm going to be hosting it with Bridget B and everything like that. So, going to have to pull my shit together. And I got so nervous.
I think you're gonna
I think it'll
absolutely
be fine. I think it's gonna be awesome. I'm, you grow a lot. I've grown a lot since those very first time. The very few first times on stage. So
yeah,
it should be a lot of fun.
yeah. Did you have any like trepidation like going on and sucking the guy's dick for the first time on camera, like because it's and that's the other funny thing about like. So you being on stage, you're so nervous about that. But then, like, the first time that you're ever on set and you decide to, like, make that move, you're just like, oh, no, I'm not, like, nervous about this, or I don't.
I didn't get nervous until the dick was directly in my face. And the only thought that I really had at that particular time was I just didn't want to take forever doing it. I wanted to do a good enough job where he came in a short amount of period of time and it was pretty cool. Because by that time, I've watched a lot of fucking porn. So I was like... basically playing all the dick sucking porn I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, just mimic the fuck out of this. And I did. Goal accomplished, and I did it. And the very next thing I know, and what's crazy is I was booked for my very first boy girl directly right after that. So, and that was kind of rare because once you do like reality, you don't usually go back over and do another reality. That's the whole Bang Bros thing was reality porn. So yeah. Yeah. And then it was like the first time, you're doing boy girl. It was like, okay, well, how does this all really go down? You know, and stuff. But I felt really comfortable. I mean, I didn't, by that time I was in my 30s when I started porn. So I was just, it's just, I think maybe if I would have started when I was a little younger, maybe that nervousness would have been somewhere else. But by the time I was 30, I was like, I've been fucking for a while. Like, what do we got to do here?
Yeah. That's something I wish I had the foresight enough to ask of other people if they had that real, like the true fear nerves that like I feel or that you feel like going on stage, like in front of people, having to talk to a crowd or something like that without, it being like a camera type situation.
Yeah, and I also think
because I didn't have that, like for all the shame that I had about my body before, but by the time I started like doing camming or like masturbating on camera or taking off my clothes, it was like that didn't make me nervous. You know what I mean? And it's like I just wonder if anyone else that even goes into it, like if they really do have those nerves, or if it's like a different mindset and like a different fear that people have. And then that kind of speaks to like the vulnerability of people and how people are vulnerable in different ways. Because like for us, it's not really our bodies necessarily. It's like our minds. Like how are people going to judge like how we actually are? You know what I mean?
I also think like just being on stage, you just have this bright light staring at you, and the crowd is waiting for you to talk and respond. So you have and you don't always get a response back. Yeah. So when things are behind closed doors, anything can happen that and if stuff fucks up, you can erase that and do it. And even if you're on cam, even though it's live, sometimes you still have control because you're in your own department.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I think if you're open enough to show yourself on camera, like. It's just a little different. Yeah. Well, it's like different. My nerves were. It's like for me, even my nerves were like placed in different spots for that.
Yeah, for sure. No, and I feel the same way. It's like even the first time doing it, it's like I don't even remember exactly what the nerves were, but it was just like because you don't have any idea of what it's going to be like, especially the first time. So you have all these ideas running around in your head of what it could be. And then it turns out to be something completely different, and you actually enjoy it, and you're like, wow. Like, and if I hadn't tried this, that's why I like say yes to things sometimes,
Oh yeah, say yes, definitely.
So what other new like big things do you have coming up? Do you have any travel plans? Because I know that you're such a travel bug.
Yeah, I haven't traveled for a while, so I have.
It's been difficult.
Yeah. So well, that didn't stop me, but I just been really busy. Like January kind of flew by, and then all of a sudden I found myself. It was landing in March already, but just I have Sedona coming up. I have Montana and Yellowstone coming up. A couple other trips that I'm kind of nailing out right now. Definitely have to hit I love going back to Costa Rica. That'll definitely happen. Probably would go visit my friends in Mexico, and I'm looking at maybe Iceland or Vietnam as well. Maybe something like that. It all depends on what's going on. Yeah, in the whole world globally. To be honest.
Yeah,
things are
pretty crazy right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, and they're suffering like us everywhere. Yeah. But
Seems like the world could do with a little less suffering.
But I'm kind of like staying in the backyard a little bit and, checking out some national parks around here. Mm-hmm. I have a Jeep with a tent on top. So anytime I can take that out on a road trip and go up the mountain and go camping and kind of do those things is really satisfying to me.
Oh, yeah. I haven't done really much camping and stuff since I was a kid. I love hiking, and I love stoned hiking.
Oh,
I love it so much.
Have you gone much around here?
Yeah, I like to go up to Charleston a lot.
Oh, I love that place. Yeah,
it's beautiful. And then like especially during the summer, you get that like 20 to 30 degree dip, and it's so hot here, so it feels amazing up there.
It's great to go up there, and you can go up there for a while. The air is
so clean.
And there's a really cool little camping spots up there that you can go, and they're pretty safe and pretty. I mean, I've camped up there myself. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
I like it.
I would find camping with 3 dogs difficult, but I have debated getting my house sitter to just come over maybe for a couple days.
Yeah, that might be a lot.
They're a little crazy. Yeah, they're not individually. They're fantastic, but they're not fans of each other. They're all very grumbly. They're grouchy. They're corgis. They're attention whores. All of them. Yep. They're attention whores. They always demand the most attention. If they don't get it, they fight, and it's just obnoxious.
Oh, wow.
That's why they're not in the house right now, because you're new. Oh. And so they'll all want your attention, and then it would be a squabble. Yep, being very, very quiet out of the way.
Wow, they're really good.
Do you have any pets?
Yeah, I have 2 Shih Tzus and a rabbit I rescued. I rescued one of the dogs. I have Jojo, Loki, and I have my bunny, Bobby Bun Buns.
Aww.
My little girl. So she's the only girl in there. And I rescued her. She was in my neighborhood just hanging out and stuff like that. And one night I just saw her, and she allowed me to come up to her. I knew she was domesticated right away because the way her ears were laid on her body. And she didn't want to be caught that night. So I was like, okay, whatever. Went back to my house, got food, put it by the tree.
Yeah.
And I said to my Jeep, and I was like, universe, if this rabbit's if I'm supposed to do anything for this rabbit, put it in my line of sight again.
Yeah.
Whatever, and I'll take care of it. And 1 week later, again, at night, I saw a brown bunny, I don't know. It was back out by the tree again. So I just got out of my Jeep in the middle of the road and picked it up and stuck it in my Jeep and took it home.
That's amazing.
And she literally, we built her a loft because the way in my house, I had this... There's a wall between the kitchen and the front room and stuff like that where it allows this weird ledge, but there isn't anything there. I guess people could store luggage up there or something if they wanted to. I don't know what the fuck it was for.
Yeah, I have weird ledges up here too that I'm like, well, I don't know what to do with these.
Yeah, that's her whole bunny habitat.
Oh, that's awesome.
L-shaped ledge.
Oh, that's cool.
It's huge. It's I showed other people, people don't have apartments in New York that size. And I was like, what are you talking about? My house is not that big.
Spoiled bunny.
She definitely went from the streets into a little castle of her own.
She definitely upgraded.
Oh, she's spoiled, of course, all of my pets and stuff like that. But,
I know. I spoiled the crap out of them.
Yeah. They own me 100%. That's for sure.
I was like... They walk around this house like they own it, because basically they do. I bought this house almost specifically because it had one of the biggest yard spaces in Vegas, which is so hard to find a freaking yard. Come on, Vegas, yards, please. And so this one actually had enough space for 3 of them. And oh no, just pee on it. Just pee on everything. See, he owns it. They own everything, and that's the joy of pets. Oh,
I love it.
I don't know. I love it too.
Awesome.
Something else that was exciting that I can actually talk about now by the time that this is released is that I noticed that you too have a stroker.
Yeah,
from
you
Kiru.
have one too.
Yeah,
Kiru.
I'll go.
Certainly do. We can put our toys together. Oh, look at that. The nice blue box. Oh, hot. Look at that.
Look like that.
Oh, so we have to go.
You just never know. I don't know.
I'm
trying my best.
I fingered. Have you taken it out and fingered yours?
Yes.
All kinds of crazy shit?
I did my unboxing
I took
video.
both set. Yeah.
And I actually I was like, oh my goodness.
It feels cool inside, right?
Cool.
I
was saying, man, I wish I had a wiener so I could actually feel what this felt
like. I might
like.
have to put a strap on and just fuck mine one day.
But the difference is you can't feel
Get it all wet and make it all squishy just to make the noise.
I was like, is this what I sound like? Oh my god.
Yeah, I am that.
Oh my God.
I'm so in.
We should make a video.
AMSR.
Let's make a video of us with strap-ons
Just
fucking ourselves, and then we can swap and fuck each other. And then we can actually fuck each other.
Okay. All right. I'm totally down for that.
Oh my God.
The male
this is
masturbator.
fantastic. Yes.
I'm so good at masturbate. I'm going to use I am going to put
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so we have our vagina. You get our badges.
So get our vaginas.
Yeah, and the really cool thing is the hands-free little knobby thing, where
the Keon
you
thing.
fit your.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Keon. So go to Kiru. I don't know the Instagram, Kiru Amsterdam. I think David put it here. I'll give it to you. And definitely go check that out because these are actually super cool. I've never had a toy before, and I was like, this is so good.
Yeah, it's actually, and I really love the company. They're super like responsive and stuff like that. They've been along the way. Have been really, really cool.
No, they've been great, and I thought it was so cool because this is actually a red bikini. But they made it teal, and teal's my favorite color.
Oh, that's okay. They asked me what my favorite color was, and I was wondering why I got a green box. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot that I put that on the questionnaire thing. I was like, why would they ask this? And then the box is teal. I was like, what?
No, I love it. I love the purple and teal.
Cool.
That's really nice.
So
I like that.
Thank you, Kiru. Super awesome. Shout out to Kiru.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Oh, and I also brought you one of my calendars. Because I like to do personal projects. So this is one of my personal projects that I designed.
I was seeing the talking points, the zodiac.
Yeah. So check it out.
Cool.
So
this is amazing.
When's your birthday?
I did that November. Cut that out, David.
Sorry.
I'm retarded. Oh my God.
I like to do art projects.
Ooh, I love that.
So that's Scorpio, and it's meant to be upside down.
Sorry.
So that would be the Scorpio's tail, eyes, and the legs that come out. So everything's very subdued in how it's done.
I love that.
So everything is just take your time.
I definitely see that now. That's super. Oh, that's so cool. Definitely get her calendar. I'll get your links in the description of the podcast and the YouTube description.
For sure.
Goodness.
Bless you.
I apologize. So what's one of your favorite creative projects that you've done since you're into doing things like this? That takes so much time and
that was actually one of my largest projects I've ever done. I put together, so we also have an insert and stuff like that we also did this completely different. So literally we did about 13 to 14 different looks over 4 days in 4 different locations.
Oh, wow.
I put the team together. I really described. We had a couple meetings up to the point. Especially the stylist, I had most of those outfits were either made for me or something. One of my friends is Foreplay Style House right here in Vegas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, if you ever have a big shoot that you want to be actually styled for, let me know.
I think that I have actually. I think that's who Hardeen used for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they used her a lot. So anyway, she's a friend of mine, so I had her help me style everything. Makeup artist, going with her, going to the hair store.
Yeah.
My look is, because each look is distinctly different.
Yeah, of course.
And it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
It was definitely one of my favorite projects.
That's
when you put
super
so
cool.
much into it, and this team, you never know when a team of people are going to get along.
Yeah, for sure.
That never work together.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of, and especially when you're trying to accomplish a lot every single day.
For sure.
From the morning until night.
Yeah, no, it's exhausting.
It's a lot, and you never know how that's going to work out and how that's going to play out, but honestly, it was just fucking beautiful. And the photographer, Ashley, I've used her for another project, which is one of my favorites, where I was an artist. The name escapes me right now. I can give it to you later. I saw a painting of his, and I literally posted, I said, I want to remake this into a photograph. And it's kind of like a marionette doll. She has a cigarette. I did it with a joint.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And her hair is different and everything like that. I'll have to show it to you sometime.
Yeah.
And that was a really big project that we did together, and it was just really cool because I was a marionette doll.
That's super cool. So do you do more as far as for your own stuff outside of the mainstream? Do you do more photography stuff than video stuff, or is photography and the photos just more what you're passionate about?
I just like creating visually stimulating art.
Yeah.
Regardless if that's going to be video or photographs or painting or anything like that. I really kind of dabble in all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think photographs are just easy for a lot of people to get their hands on, especially because this is all safe for work.
Yeah.
I did that purposely because at the same time, I would like for women to also enjoy things that we also produce.
Of course.
It's not just for men. And
Yeah.
if you really go through the calendar, it's probably more for a
It's
woman.
more for women.
It's very feminine,
Yeah.
divine, and powerful in a lot of ways. It's probably made more for a woman than the men, which is kind of funny, but
yeah. But I mean, the men enjoy it too, and so it's
of course,
like you can.
know?
And it's another thing in porn as well, where I think a lot of people have said it too, is that a lot of porn is predominantly created more for men. That's why I don't think as many women outside of this industry partake of it or enjoy it or, you know, consume it on their own.
Yeah, I think it's going to change. I think it's been changing.
No, I think it
just
has
because
been
there's
changing, but
also
I'm
more
saying in
women
the
in charge
past.
now. Yeah,
exactly.
I think with the influx of, you know, just seeing women can be, you know, sexual beings and go ahead, be your slut.
And actually create things that are like really good, and that people actually want to continue watching to see more production from that side. And I think that something that's been cool too, as I've been doing more custom work, like as far as like subscriber pages and stuff like that, I've been able to actually get feedback from some of my female fans as far as like what would make content better for them, you know, for whatever, if they're watching it with their boyfriend or if they're just into girls and just watching it solo. Like they're like, even some of, you know, the dildo content that you make, you could do it this way and that would still be appealing to everyone, but I would enjoy it this way more or whatever.
Oh, nice.
So it's been really cool to kind of just get different creative feedback from actual fans, so that when I go and create content that isn't custom, it kind of can encompass everyone's interests a little more globally, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's where the good, you know, fan feedback and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that works really well when you're just working with, you know, that particular type of content and everything like that. I think what I'm trying to do most of all is really spread over, since I have a variety of products and services that I can provide, is really tapping into, you know, women buyers. Women like to buy things. Yeah. So if I can tap them into that, that also may lead them into liking other things, such as adult work as well.
Exactly.
And also give them a different point of a different perspective on female adult entertainers and actresses and models and whatever else you want to call us. Yeah. You know, they can see, oh, well, they're not just this, and that, and the other. Yeah,
exactly. No, I agree with that completely. I've definitely, over the past couple of years, diversified just myself so much more. Like I had so many hobbies even that I let like go by the wayside when I was so invested in like camming and this like push all the time, like painting.
Is this yours?
Yeah, like most
nice.
of the
I
paintings. Love it. Yeah. No, and it's been like a fun creative process, and then even like picking up like a fitness journey, that's been something that's been really fun and exciting too, and that's something else to share. Then you have things like the podcasts, and it's been so much more fulfilling to be able to kind of use, I guess, the brand that the industry has given me to be able to also then flex my creativity in other ways, because it's like we're not just whatever we're putting into our holes. There's so much more to everyone.
We can do things.
We
can do all kinds of things. We can take it in all our holes and fucking create.
Yes, exactly. And all women
very
can.
multifaceted.
Do you want to know why? Because like all women, well, not all women, but you know, most women put things in their holes, like whether they're in this industry or not. So it's like, and they're still doing other things. The only difference is that we have a camera. And we sell it. I guess that would be the difference, because some people have cameras too, so don't get me wrong.
I think with the influx of OnlyFans and the whole pandemic, I think there's a lot more women on OnlyFans now.
There are.
Because they realize, you know, now they can make a little money, you know, why.
Even if you're selling your feet pictures. It's like,
and you don't even have to show your face.
No.
And you don't even have to get naked.
No.
You know, there's like so many options out there. So I'm like, make your own money. You know, secure the bag. You know, it's
do whatever you're comfortable with. It's like, you know, I always say, especially if you're just like trying to get your foot in the door with like content creation, you want to do like OnlyFans. There is that option to start without your face and to not like reveal too much and still potentially create a really good fan base out of that. And then it's like it gives you the option to not have to like fully invest in that, and everything that kind of can come with revealing who you actually are, you know. But I think a lot of people jump in thinking, oh, I can just make some fast money really quick, and they don't think about some of the long-term repercussions if you don't have, you know, backups, and if you don't have the business mindset and the creativity to go forth and then also do other things for yourself.
Yeah.
And it can be a trap a lot of people fall into. So it's like, you know, research a little, do a little before you do too much, you know.
Well, definitely, yeah, I definitely understand what you're getting yourself into, and plus, you have to understand that it's not going to just jump on in a quick buck right away. So, you know, it's not, you know,
that's the biggest misconception.
Most of us that got on OnlyFans in the very beginning already had a brand for us anyway. So there's that. Two, the more you put into it, the more you're getting out of it. So you're going to have to probably put in more time than maybe the average person like myself, like me. Like I don't go live that often, but when I do, it's significant.
Yeah.
But a newer person, you're going to have to go in there
All
a lot
the
more.
time.
You know, but if you've got that business sense and you realize what you can possibly accomplish in the long haul over time and see the much bigger picture and realize that you're now in control of your own time, space, everything. That's why I do what I do. I mean, I dictate how I spend my days. When you can do that, you lower your stress by a million.
Yeah.
Like,
and
really
it's like
does.
you have the ability to put the value not only on your body, but on yourself and your time. Like you attribute your own value, and those who are willing to pay it. And those who aren't, that's fine. There's, you know, as many others as are willing.
I love OnlyFans. I think that's fucking shit's great. I love all this like private, those little subscription sites. I enjoy it. Thank you very much for subscribing.
Thank you very much for
Appreciate
subscribing. We appreciate it. You are amazing.
No, I really love it. It's like
I love it too.
That's some really good shit. Because when I started out, like I said, when I started out, 2010, like camming was just now starting to come around. You know, again, that was paid per hour, so we didn't have like these subscription sites, and Twitter was still really quite new. I think Instagram came later.
Instagram was
it's
later.
crazy how that's really developed over a period of time since
like such a short period of time. I remember like having my first Instagram and I was like, what is this? Like what was the point of this? And now it's this huge thing. Sorry, I did drink the bubbly water. But the thing I feel like is replacing Instagram is TikTok. And I feel like now such a big like group of people has moved over to this other platform that Instagram is kind of dying. And we're still getting censored from it. But then it's hard to then go and shift and have to figure out a whole new platform where there's still all the censoring and it's crazy and it's just...
Well, it's all
like,
censored everywhere. I do have to say, though, for TikTok, I am not shadow banned on TikTok, and people are able to see my content on there, and I keep it super fucking clean. I mean, if you look at my Instagram's quite clean out of the whole, you know... I've had people write me and say, I had no idea. Like, I just liked your Instagram. I mean, like, I would have had no clue that you do what you did. You know, but TikTok just makes it easy. I just, you know, and I do that now. I'm using it more for like advertising my coffee, advertising the podcast, advertising the calendar, different projects I'm going to, you know, get myself into, future art projects, basic little, you know, little fun things. But that's a lot to keep up with. That's another drive where if you're not pushing it, you're not on top of that algorithm. And I just really, to me, I like my private time and I like my balance. So I probably don't do as well on it just because I'm not posting all the time. I have a hard time posting on Instagram every day. I'm like, that's the
problem that I have is consistency. Like I have reminders set on my phone to remind me to post something, so I won't do it.
Hootsuite's really good for all of that because you can like pre-program it. I just have to sit down and actually do it.
Oh my god! But yeah, that's
so bad at it.
It's like here's all these tools to make it so much more simpler. So much more simpler. I'm stoned. Whatever.
It's fine.
It's so much more simpler to essentially just lay everything out, schedule all of this. But there's so many platforms to do that on that you need like a week just to schedule things.
It's just sit down.
You're dealing with, you know, you got the DMs, you have the content you have to make, you have all these other ventures, and it racks up to being so much time that like people are asking what's the best movie you've seen recently? I'm like, I don't remember when the last time was that I could watch a movie and like sit down and not be plagued by thinking of all these things they should be doing by watching a movie. So I end up not doing it, you know?
Sure.
Like it's a hustle. Like you got to be doing stuff like all the time.
Yeah, and I think Instagram's just like, I think everybody's just, well, anybody that's in an industry that gets shadow banned, and, you know, the cannabis industry is the same thing too. That gets shadow banned pretty heavily.
Oh, for sure.
Unless, of course, you're a celebrity, then you can show your tits and your ass and your puss and nobody cares.
You can
but
just
like,
do whatever you want.
But yeah, and it's crazy. Like, I'm so shadow banned, and I've tried to buy ads for like my coffee or my podcast, which are completely mainstream bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And
they're like, no.
I don't even advertise my OnlyFans or anything. Like, I have my page set for 21 and over, and only 2% actually see those ads. So it's like, what am I really paying for? You know what I mean? Just really make a whole lot of sense.
No, I've actually tried to do that with my own podcast as far as just like doing the little promotion like thing for like a new clip or something. And it doesn't seem to do anything. So I'm like, what?
No,
like
but
you're like
you
have this many estimated impressions and this many, and I'm like where is this?
I just feel like it's taking your money at this point in time, and it's just like it's constantly, their algorithms are constantly changing, and it's,
you just can't keep up with like what's allowed
and we're
what's
constantly
not.
getting like folded under, folded under, folded under, folded under, and folded under, and folded under. It's just like, come on, dude. It's like,
and it's
why, like, I don't know, make your app better, like, just like
it makes no sense to me, because it's like, you're going to allow these things, and I discussed this with Phoenix too. So it's like in tagged photos that people can just tag of you. They'll tag me in things that I'm not even in, that are like porn.
Oh, I stopped that. There's a mark you can do on your thing. People that I don't follow can't comment. And you can't tag me in anything unless
you can set it to only people you follow can tag it. Oh,
yep. So it stopped.
I'm doing that
because we were getting marked on comments. Like if you guys like write all over in our comments, I want to fuck your pussy.
Stop doing that.
Sucking your tits, mom, and all that. If you do that, our accounts get flagged. Which is
we're
bullshit,
not doing it
because you're the one making the fucking comment. I can't be on there all day taking off 100 comments, so I just knocked it all off.
Oh my god, the bot comments are out of fucking control.
So literally, I have to be following you in order for you to actually leave a comment on my page. It's not just my followers. Like, I have to be following you. Otherwise, no.
Wow.
And I'll take you on. If somebody leaves something stupid, I just take them right off. I don't care.
Yeah. I actually go through and I do delete comments when I can, and then I go through every 2 days, and I've been untagging myself from things.
Yeah, I'll send you screenshots if you wanted to click that off. It's all up to you. Now I will say.
Now I can figure it out. I promise. I'm just so lazy with technology. It took me until like maybe a year ago to get WhatsApp. I
never got Snapchat. I didn't like that.
Like, everybody's talking about like OBS and stuff that they use for their streaming, and I'm like, I still use Manycam, and people are like, what's that? I'm like, don't worry about it. It's my secret.
I don't even know what that is. Jeez.
Exactly. Nobody does, because people just keep advancing, and I just stay stuck here in my ways.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It works.
What is just out of curiosity, like, because you've done so many scenes, like, what is some of your favorite scenes that you've done, as far as like, have you been in, like, I'm sure you have, but like movies or any particular one that kind of stands out as something memorable to you?
Like feature wise?
Could be feature wise, or even just scenes, just as far as like, I don't know if like after a certain point like things just kind of start to blend together, as far as things, or if anything kind of just stood out as significant that you think back to.
Well, I think the most significant ones are the ones that I've pitched or helped write or helped produce and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So like I did a couple times actually. Like The Voyeur Next Door was something that I literally dreamt up one afternoon on my sofa, and I wrote it all up, and I was sitting in my computer for probably maybe a year and a half or longer. Wow. And I got a call from someone from Brazzers or MindGeek, and asking if I had any ideas. And I was just like, before I even let them go very far, I was like, hey, well, I did write this whole like 4-part series.
Yeah.
Would you be interested in listening to it? And I'm very detailed, so it's just how my brain works.
Yeah, it's the creative brain.
I had like character profiles already written out, like what their dress would be like, what the setting would be like, what the house needs to look like, the tone, what the entrance music would I had in mind, what was playing in my mind at the time. scenarios, house sex, and all this other stuff, and they loved it. So to see
awesome.
that play out was probably one of my favorites, just because I got to be in it. It was great sex. I had great people in it.
Yeah, for sure. No,
I marked all the boxes.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah.
Being like an integral you know what I'm saying. Role
I totally understand.
In the
I totally
creative
understand.
process is just amazing. It's like I've done my share too, a couple written just a couple scenes, and then I did my own movie. And it's just so fun to just create, to be the one that like you're seeing it like come to fruition in front of your eyes. You're a part of the process, and you're like, this is what I imagined, and I'm seeing it be able to be represented, and it's so freaking cool.
I think it's so cool. It's like anything, like, should I just imagine that and wrote it all out on my couch over a couple day period, and just was really into it and played it all in my head and
just every way it was gonna go. And
I like to allow my mind to wander.
Yeah,
that's how I come up with different ideas and more jobs for me to do.
Yeah,
sure.
As far as like, because you've been in so many things, do you like to watch your scenes and to watch the things, especially the ones not necessarily maybe that you're shooting for other people, but the ones that you do like write and create?
Or if I had to market it, I like to check them out and see how they came out. Yeah, I like to see the finished project, because I'm not on the editing on the editing part. I don't know a thing about editing.
Yeah.
Thank you again. No, I don't know anything about editing and stuff like that. And so that's fascinating, and kind of learning all that stuff, and I can definitely see a future in all of that.
Yeah.
But I really love the writing. I really like being creative in that process. I like coming up with new scenarios. Andrew Blake was one of my favorite pornographers ever. Like, I just loved all his films and what he did. And,
that's really cool.
Just want to like completely create all the time.
Yeah. No, I love that.
And I really like, and like play these little scenarios, these beautiful, probably more feminine, sexuality based. Want to get those more out on camera.
Yeah, for sure.
Really great.
Do you have anything that you're writing in the works as far as that would go?
Yeah,
like not to give away any ideas.
Well, I just submitted a couple things recently. I do have to say that's a really great thing about being contracted and stuff like that is, companies that you're contracted with are really interested in what you want to create.
Yeah, I found that when I was contracted for MindGeek, especially.
They're
like, oh, we value you, and I'm like, oh, for more than just this. They're like, yes, up here too. I'm like, cool.
They want to know, like, hey, are you happy? Like, who do you want to work with? Like, who do you want to work with and stuff like that. So I feel super grateful that that's there.
Yeah. And you've
that's
been
a great
contracted
outlet
for them
too.
for how long?
Gosh, when did it start? 22 years? Oh, it's been about 2 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's flies by.
No, it really does. Like,
plus we had that whole like thing in there. So
I know.
Like,
it's one of those funny things that I feel like
where does the time start and where does it end?
There was like 2019, and then there's now.
Yeah, I'm just sorry
and I'm
about
like,
that.
Wait.
I'm bad with time anyway. Plus,
No.
we just smoked a joint, so like
we did. Things are out of control, but it's fine because that's the world lately. The past apparently 3 years, so like it doesn't stop. It's like, oh, pandemic. That's a year that didn't happen.
Like,
and then you have like the next year, which is 2021. That's gone. Bye. It's 2022, bitches. Like, where did it go?
Yeah.
And it's like, and now there's all this crazy global shit going on. It's just like, what is happening? I think the rapture might be coming. Fuck while you can, watch the porn, like, dude, because like it's just wild.
It's getting crazy. But yeah, you get totally what I mean. I love being creative and being imaginative and putting that on. And then I have a couple other things that I have in my head that just need to kind of vomit it out on paper. But because I'm so detailed oriented, it's kind of sometimes hard.
No,
to
I
vomit
feel you
it out
on
on paper, and I call it vomiting because it's a lot of words coming out on paper.
Yeah, and then it's like a matter of like organizing that again, and it's like because you feel like you have it together in your brain, but when it comes out, it's like a scramble, and then you have to de-scramble it.
Well, it's like you're describing the movie in your brain to someone, and that's going to create it. So it's like, okay, the walls look like this, like you have details.
And they're like, but why is that important? And you're like, because it's important.
Yeah,
but it is.
Because all that creates the imagery. Like it, like you look like it. that whole picture, it's not just me in there. The whole picture creates a feeling
to really
movement.
draw you in.
Yeah, like everybody could like you can think whatever it is when it comes to that.
Yeah, and you could have just like the plain white walls and like every other thing, but then it's gonna be like every other thing. That's not the creative aspect. You need like that accent lighting. You need that light in the corner to really colors, you know. It and
I like aesthetically pleasing things.
I do too. I don't know, like my house.
And that's all the mushrooms.
I love that. I haven't. I'm like one of those people that's too afraid of my own brain to want to do psychedelics.
Oh gosh, yeah. I microdose often. In fact, I was wondering.
That's what people have been saying is microdosing. That's all I hear.
I've done a lot of psychedelics all my life, like I said earlier.
Of course,
whatever. But like, and I just not because like I didn't do it when I was younger. I partied and stuff like that, but I was like fucking young and I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Now it's more like what I do now is more plant based. It'll be like something for spiritual or just for like, you know, mental stability, like just mental happiness. Like for instance, this morning I was at the gym and I was like, God, I'm in a really good mood. I was like, oh, I took mushrooms before I went to bed last night. That's probably why.
Yeah.
You know, because they're still working on you in some one way or another. And it's just, again, it's a microdose. And sometimes that just relaxes me enough. And I like to lucid dream and go into these different places. And it's not like a microdose, you're not tripping out. Like, I'm not like, oh, wow. Like, I'm not trying to watch the wall breathe ananymore or anything like that.
I never want to ever see a wall breathe in my life.
It's so dope.
Ever.
I will hold your hand through it.
Ever.
Ooh, I just got a new favorite couch. I can't wait to touch that later. No. I've had a lot of fun about my life. I'll just say that. But anyway, yeah, I really feel it's great for mental. It's great for my mental clarity. If I feel, I'm very human. You know, there's times where I'm down. There's things that go on. There's things that I can't. I'm like, why do I feel this way? You know, I'm not saying I just pop a couple mushrooms every time I feel that way. I do have a regimen that I stick by. I use it like any other medicinal plant that I would ever use.
Yeah, of course.
For reasons. And it's been phenomenal. Yeah. You know, it really helps me focus. It kind of hones in. It helps my creativity. I love to go on hikes and microdose. Love to go to concerts and comedy shows as well. But that's me.
That's amazing. Oh no, I definitely feel like weed, for instance, puts me in a crazy creative headspace. It's one of the reasons I can smoke it here and then actually like talk easier, for instance. But I love sitting down with just like paint. That's what I picked up during the pandemic was painting, because I did like drawing and stuff before, but I never really painted. And so it's just been so fun because you just like let it flow and you don't worry about anything. You just paint what you're feeling. But I do get into these spaces where it's like once I lose that creative flow for the thing, if it's not finished, I have a hard time like coming back to it. I'm just like, but it feels unfinished, you know. I don't know how to get back there.
I can understand that, actually. I was painting for a long time, and I'm the kind of person that if I don't finish that painting at that particular time, then it's done however I ended it, because I can't go back into it. It's like it was such an emotionally charged moment at that particular, and I can't recreate that emotional charge.
No, it's just like that painting there.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I started that when I found out my grandpa died. And then like I was just working on it for a while and it helped me get through that. And then like once, like I didn't feel like it was done. It wasn't what I saw in my head, but then I like couldn't see it anymore, and so I couldn't finish it, you know? And it's like, oh, I guess it's done. And so there it is.
There it is.
And I feel like, you know, that's just art, and maybe that's just the way that we create. It's like once you're not there, your brain's decided, well, it's done. And so it is done. And art is all subjective anyway, isn't it?
Maybe you've worked through whatever that thing is that you needed to work through a time period. I also look at it that way. You know, it's like a little thing that you go on. My gardening's like that. My gardening is like a moving meditation for me. I can go out there and just flow in and out all day, watch hummingbirds, bees, plant.
Beautiful.
I plant a lot of seeds. People hate the way I garden because I'm just like, let's throw all the seeds in and see what happens.
Surprise.
And it's great because I end up having a very lush garden, and it's great. And some things,
so just super full.
And everything has a cycle in it. You know, I'm able to take the fruits of the labor. I allow some of the fruits of the labor to be compost just directly in, so my worms have something to eat and poop, and because plants love worm poop. And then I also take things for seeds. So allow it to mature and take it for seeds. So I have it to plant for next year or maybe again in the same year because we kind of almost get 2 seasons here if you play it right.
Yeah.
And
it's like a fine art.
Yeah, I fucking love gardening, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like pure happiness. But I'm a nature girl. So barefoot, out in nature, hanging out, all about it.
Yeah. No, that's one of the things that I often miss in Vegas is like real grass because I just want to feel it on my toes.
There's so much grass here.
There's not. We have to go to the park. You have to find the right parks that water correctly.
There's like
and
a
you gotta
patch this
find.
big.
You're like, oh my god, I found it. It's smaller than my entire foot, but I'm gonna try. And you just shove it in there because
it's not very green here.
It's not. But there are certain times of the year that it's not too bad, and if you can go, fine. I just like to just go walk through the grass with my bare toes. Yeah. The dogs like it.
I miss that.
I do because I grew up in the Midwest where it's very green.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, grew up in Michigan, so it's very green, very lush, very wet, very snowy. Oh god, the snow.
Okay. It might be really cold.
Yeah. Well, it's also like the funny thing about Michigan is it's so temperamental. Michigan has PMS because you have all that lake effect weather, and so it's like, it's a blizzard, and the next day it's like 65. It's like, make up your fucking mind. You can't you have all that lake effect weather, so it's just kind of a nightmare. I would never live there again, but it's
I haven't spent much time in Michigan at all. I think I've only gone there a couple times I forget even why. It must have been like when I was younger or something.
I will be honest. If my family didn't live there, I would have no reason to go to Michigan, so I wouldn't waste your time.
Yeah. I kind of feel that way
no
about
offense,
Pennsylvania,
Michigan.
though.
I love you. Sorry if you're from Michigan. I'm from
Pennsylvania is cold. I'm like, whatever. But I was stationed in North Dakota. So similar. I don't know. I'm sure there's parts of Michigan that are just as cold as North Dakota and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been to North Dakota too. My grandma lived there for a little while.
Oh my god. I'm done. That's why I kept moving more south. I was like, how far south can I go and still be in the United States?
Oh my god,
now,
it was true.
I
was like, all right, left Michigan, California,
okay,
Florida, Michigan. Fuck, I do hate it here, California.
Yeah, that was totally like,
Washington.
Why did I do this?
Washington, because I moved there in the summer and I was like, wow, it's beautiful. And then October hit and it was like, oh god.
It's gray.
It's just gray. It's not even necessarily that it's raining. I love rain.
Even I
Hawaii rain, for instance, beautiful.
But
even when it rains here, not so bad. You have a couple of rainy days, but you get that gloom, and I am a sad panda. Mm-hmm. It is not good.
It gets gray here for a while, and I don't like it.
Yeah,
my mood changes.
We're finally getting out of that period. I finally feel like because it's starting to get more of these really nice sunny days because this gloom has been driving me up the walls. Like it's not been good. I can't wait till
my sunflowers start to bloom and grow.
God, I love sunflowers. Oh my goodness.
You have to come over.
I will.
When everything starts to bloom.
Yes, I want to see. Ooh, we could take pictures like with all the beautiful flowers. Oh, that'd be so pretty. That would be amazing. We definitely should.
Right now, my potatoes are booming. My lavender, my rosemary is always my mint.
Ooh, mint.
I have a few other things that I noticed that are coming out. It looks,
So you don't really plan it. You're just kind of like, meh.
Pretty much.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have to pick through and like see what has come up and like what it is.
It's always a glorious discovery for me. I'm always on an adventure, by the way.
That's super cool.
I'm always on an adventure. Just go out there, hang out, see what grows and what bugs come that year and
you seem
good
like
insects. I mean,
you're definitely the adventurous type too.
Mm-hmm.
Not only get into the industry the way that you did after coming from the military, that you got into just to explore. It's like you're just this powerhouse and your whole life is an adventure, which is so cool. You're just like your own choose your adventure book and every option is like, yes.
I really like the way you just put that. Yeah, I like that. That's why the Jeep suits me. Yeah. It's like, it's the perfect car for me, for real.
No, I love it. Well, I've really enjoyed having you here. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Would you like to tell everyone where they can find you?
Sure. You can find me publicly on Twitter at Alexis Fawx, Fawx. And then my Instagram is at Alexis Fawx Live. My spicy page is foxfans.com. And of course, if you want to support my coffee business, it's highafcoffee.com. So check it out. Buy the coffee. And if you're local in Vegas, you can actually buy it at Corey's
smells
on
so
Eastern,
good.
which is a local wine and beer joint. So check us out. Have some fun. Check me out.
Check her out.
Google me. Get by
There's
my.
a lot to see. She does everything. She's like Barbie.
I truly, yeah, I really am.
She does all the jobs. Does all the things.
I'm the Barbie with Brunette.
I love it.
I'm the Brunette Barbie. This is what happens.
Perfect. Brunette Barbie. We just named the episode.
I fucking love it. I got the big tits for it. Like, why not?
I love this. Oh my God. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you to be liking and subscribing. I hope that you do. Leave us a rating if you enjoy. As always, Anchor, I can do this. Submissions can be made to anchor.fm/TWND and twndpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.